time has finally come. And if you've been with me either on my Quitting Those Games channel or my Double Edge Games channel, which I kind of talk about a lot how I got my start on YouTube with the type of content I was doing. And I was actually doing a lot of content on the PlayStation Vita because at the time when this guy came out, literally rewind back 4 years ago, it was marketed as console quality on the go. You'll be able to bring your console experience anywhere you want to go. And as someone who loves gaming as much as I do, this was the perfect handheld for me. Except Sony didn't think so. So fast forward literally until 2014, this console has only been out for a good maybe 2.5, 3 years. And then that's when Sony announced that they're going to stop first-party support, and this is going to be open up to indie and third-party companies. And then fast forward years, maybe a couple years after that, that's when the Vita hit rock bottom, and third-party companies were like, if you don't care about the platform, what's the point of bringing this game onto this platform? So it just kind of left it high in the dark, and just left it a home for a bunch of JRPGs, which I don't mind. I love watching anime and I love reading manga, but when it comes to a bunch of JRPGs on the Vita, it's not my cup of tea all the time. I can play some here and there, but I can't play a ton of them. So unfortunately, the type of support that I wanted and the type of experience I wanted on the Vita was not going to happen. And then Nintendo decided to say, you know what, we're going to do you one even better, Sony, because not only did the PS Vita just have way better hardware inside, like that thing is still a powerful handheld, but the only thing Nintendo did was just have commitment to their handheld console. As much as I love the Vita and as much as I've done so much to try to get this thing out to so many people, because I did a lot of promotion for this thing, not being paid to do it, just because I enjoyed the Vita. I have to honestly say Sony did not have the commitment in order to push this thing even further, because I remember when it first came out, they came out strong. And then after that, it just died down because even a lot of people, when I had it around the time I did back in 2013, a lot of people did not know about the Vita. They thought it was just a regular PSP. The word did not get around as much. And as much as like it pains me to say, it's true. It's 100% true. I wish the PS Vita could have been something more. Nobody wants something to fail unless its intentions are just evil. But when it comes to the actual PS Vita, I had high hopes for it. I did. But I guess Sony didn't. And that's what brings us to today's video. Today we're going to be reviewing Nintendo's new console. It is called Nintendo Switch. And if you've been living under a rock and why am I holding it upside down? If you've been living under a rock and you don't know much about the Nintendo Switch, it's their new home console to where now you can actually play it in 3 different modes. You can actually take this thing on the go with you so you don't have to stop playing your Zelda Breath of the Wild, or you don't even have to stop playing your Xenoverse 2. First glance at the Nintendo Switch, what you're going to look at, it looks pretty much like a little bit of a bulkier tablet, but when you actually take the Joy-Cons off, and when I first took it out the box, the whole console itself looked pretty small. And then it has the Nintendo Switch dock, which actually helps it to where it can boost onto the TV, but that dock itself also looks a little on the small side. That was just also, first impressions, but you also can't just equate the size of the console of its power, because let's just keep this real. Even when you saw the bulky PS2, and then a few years later they come out with the extremely slim and small version of the PS2. So that's usually companies' ultimate goal, is let's make the exact same product with using less, or even taking up less space and using less resources. So I'm just going to go ahead and list some positive and negatives about the Nintendo Switch, things that I enjoy. So first off with the positives, I love the fact that the Nintendo Switch actually has very good use for the Joy-Cons on the side. A lot of the games are actually compatible with the 2-player Joy-Cons, so instead of you buying like an extra Pro Controller or buying another set of Joy-Cons, if you just want to play a quick game of DBZ with your friends or Pokemon with your friends, you can actually take one of the Joy-Cons off, hand it to them, and then you can actually have a blast playing it. Now, at first, the Joy-Cons, they're really small, especially in your hands, but for some reason, I got really used to using the Joy-Cons extremely quick in that sub-Joy-Con kind of mode. It actually felt, oddly enough, it felt a little comfortable. It reminded me of an old-school Nintendo controller, except it's really small. But if you're like Shaq, you're gonna get carpal tunnel using this thing. Another thing I do enjoy is that with the Joy-Con itself, it actually has a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con grip that comes with it. And the battery life on the Joy-Cons are pretty dang good. So if you're playing in tablet mode the whole time and your console's on full battery, your Joy-Cons are going to last a whole lot longer than your console is. So that's, and then also if you want to charge your actual Joy-Cons, you just actually slide them onto the console itself while it's charging, and it'll charge everything at the exact same time. So you do not have to worry about having an external charger when you're charging two different types of equipment. So just for starters, some of the things I love about the Nintendo Switch of this console is the fact that, of course, it sports a 6.2-inch LCD screen. It's also going to be touchscreen as well too. So not only will you be able to, just navigate through the UI just with either the buttons, but you can also scroll through certain things with the touchscreen, similar to PS Vita. Also, one thing I will have to say about the console itself is that it's going to support the 6.2-inch screen, but it will run games in 720p. So it'll be 1280 by 720p when it's in portable mode, and it'll be 1080p when it's going to be actually docked. So it's going to give you a little bit of a slight performance boost, but it's going to look a little bit more pretty when it's actually docked. And when it's in portable mode, it's going to be scaled down a little bit. You can kind of notice that on the screen. But one thing that's really good about the Nintendo Switch that I enjoyed is that the amount of games, or the type of games they actually have on it for right now, like you have Pokken Tournament DX, which that game runs at a smooth 60 FPS. It looks beautiful on the Nintendo Switch, and it plays well on the Nintendo Switch as well. Even though it's not too much going on in the background, not like foliage or anything too big per se, but it still runs pretty good and it's a smooth experience. And just about all the other ports on Nintendo Switch, they run good as well. They don't really have like a lot of performance dips here and there. I have Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 that I actually picked up because I played Xenoverse 1 but never got a chance to play Xenoverse 2, and it runs really good on the Switch. The only thing is, a lot of these ports, especially in the future, they're going to be running at 30 frames depending on what's going on. Like if you're doing one-on-one fights in Xenoverse 2, it runs at 60 FPS. But if you're actually doing like multiple fights within the story mode, it's actually going to be 30 FPS going on into your fights. And one other thing I really do like about the Switch is that the Joy-Con sub mode, where you can actually take one Joy-Con off one end, use it as a separate controller, and then take the other Joy-Con off and give it to your buddy. So when you're playing a two-player game, you don't have to end up bringing another pair of Joy-Cons or even a Pro Controller. You can actually snap them off and play with your friends. So you can actually still just bring your Nintendo Switch how it is. You don't really need to buy too much extra with it. It is a little bit better to get a Pro Controller or extra pair of Joy-Cons just so you can get that full experience, because some controls will be either removed or they'll be combined with the sub version when you're playing in that mode. But for the most part, it makes it to where you can just get the Nintendo Switch how it is, and if you have a two-player game, you can actually snap the Joy-Cons off and have at it. It makes it to where it's really convenient. And also at the moment, Nintendo's gonna have their online service for free until this full launch of 2018. And then it's actually gonna be a paid service similar to Xbox Live, and it's gonna be similar to PS Plus, because now you'll be able to get some of the free classic games that are gonna end up hitting the Switch whenever they launch. So they give you somewhat of an incentive, or somewhat of a, hey, I understand, you're paying for this product, so we're gonna give you some free games. Usually that's what all companies do to kind of justify it. Me being on PC, I typically don't like paying to play my games online, but I can understand it where there's somewhat of an incentive in there in order for you to end up getting your money's worth. Also, the Nintendo Switch is pretty decent on battery life. I can understand, the battery life's like 4 hours. That's pretty much normal when it comes to a handheld. Heck, even the PSP had a decent time of around like 3.5, 4 hours. So it's pretty much around the exact same ballpark depending on what games you're playing. It may drain the battery a little bit faster, or resolution, connecting to the internet, or not resolution, brightness, but connecting to the internet, all that great stuff. Honestly, as of right now, when it comes to the negatives, the only nitpick that I actually have about it is literally the fact that how it looks. It just looks, it doesn't look like it can do what it does. But I've looked into the specs of it, I can understand why it does it. So that's really not even a negative. It takes up less space, it's portable, it's convenient. That's the perfect console for the gamer who loves to take his games on the go. But if you're someone who doesn't really care about, taking your game anywhere you need to go, still, they have a ton of great exclusives that are coming, and then they also are getting a lot more ports now, so it actually has a ton of support, which is really, really good. That was my main gripe with the entire system, was, is it gonna have that support, that third-party support that we've been looking for? And it's been delivering so far. So that's the end of the Nintendo Switch review. I definitely recommend this console, and if you're someone who has owned a 3DS or a PS Vita, or if you're someone who owns a Vita and you have no clue what to do with portable gaming next, I definitely recommend you pick up a Nintendo Switch. And even if you look at the size comparison, the Switch is much bigger than the actual PS Vita, and it's got even better hardware inside. So I would definitely recommend the Nintendo Switch. I definitely will. So that's going to conclude this Nintendo Switch review. And I got something to ask the subscribers that are going to be on this channel, the Quinn Knows Games channel, or even the Double Edge Games channel. If you guys want to see Nintendo Switch content, because I did a lot for the freaking Vita. So I know I don't feel like I kind of let you guys down, but in a way, I know exactly what you guys wanted on the channel, which was a lot of PS Vita handheld content. So if you guys want to see some Nintendo Switch content, I definitely can bring that to you guys. So just let me know in the comments down below, and we can get cracking on that. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button and leave a comment, please, because it will definitely help me out. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is Quentin.